this for a while, try to get everything as perfected as we can be. This is going to be a short series of videos to help you get Uncle Rick going for you. It's not a plug-and-play system, but however, we can get you running on this pretty quickly. There's just a few things you do on your end, but nothing too hard. I won't take up any more of it and get this ready so you can enjoy this build. Thank you very much. Okay, first of all, whatever guns you're using, Sinden or non-Sinden, this originally was made to be a Sinden build, but however, during the course of its lifespan, we're able to get it running with other guns as well. So when I have instructions for both Sinden and non-Sinden guns, and I will put information in those videos to where they seem appropriate for your style. Okay, so anyways, go ahead and make sure that you have your guns plugged in. And if you're a Sinden user, make sure that you do not have any of your Sinden programs running. This build comes with its own programs, so those are going to be programs that you'll want to be running anytime you run this build. For non-Sinden users, the reverse, you do want to have your programs on and your guns plugged in. So make sure you have that done already. All right, and next, do make sure that you have Windows Defender turned off. Whenever you try to extract Uncle Rick into your folder, you want to have the defenders off, because with the inclusion of TechnoParrot, that's going to possibly cause issues with Defender, because TechnoParrot Defender really doesn't get along that well until you set the exclusions. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how if you do not know how to do that on your own. All right, so you'll hit your start down here. You'll go to your settings. You'll come to privacy and security. You'll come to Windows security, virus and threat protection. Come down here to virus and threat protection settings, and you'll want manage settings. Up here it says real-time protection. You'll want that turned off. All right, and that's all we're going to do for now. So we're just going to leave that off for now, and you can just minimize that. We're going to come back to that after we get Uncle Rick extracted. Okay, so from your extraction from your zip file, you should see two files, and that's going to be, of course, the video that you're currently watching right now, and then you're going to have the Uncle Rick folder. It'll probably say Uncle Rick Unleashed. I'm probably going to change it before I send the final product out, but you can drop it in the root of any drive. And I mean, say root, that's just straight C, straight G, straight C, just whatever you want. For this build, however, it is defaulted to D drive. And when I say defaults to D drive, that means your TechnoParrot game's already set to run on the D. But if you don't want it on the D and you want to put it somewhere else, I'll have a video in the tutorials to show you how to change that. And it's super easy. So don't fret, it's super easy, and I'll get that going for you as well. Okay, so for example, I'm on my D drive here, and I have my Uncle Rick light gun build pulled into the root of it. Now, of course, it may say Uncle Rick's Unleashed by the time this build gets out to you. Regardless of the name, we have our folder here, and now we're going to go back to our Windows Defender. Okay, all the way at the bottom now, we have exclusions. Click Add or Remove Exclusions, and we're going to add an exclusion. I already have a few here, so we'll just hit Add, and we're going to go to Folder, and we're going to add the whole folder from Rick. So go to your D or whatever drive you have this on, click on the Rick's Light Gun Build or Rick's Unleashed, whatever it's called by the time you get it. Select Folder, and that's it. And you should see it popping up. I already have mine here though, so there it is. The next exclusion, we're going to do the entire TechnoParrot folder. So we're going to go to your light gun build, click on that, go to your emulators, click on that. TechnoParrot, click on it, select folder, and now you have that exclusion. And we're going to do one more exclusion, and we're going to do the TechnoParrot games. And this just ensures that everything, that we have all our bases covered. Back to emulators, go back to TechnoParrot, open TechnoParrot folder, and go to games, hit select folder, And that is it. Now you can turn your Windows Defender on if you want. I always leave mine off, but that will prevent TechnoParrot from deleting anything inside that folder. All right, next, if you've never had Launchbox on the computer that you're using, or you're not sure if you have, make sure that you do download a Launchbox. This is going to get all our prerequisite files in. We'll get our right drivers, our right software, etc. If you don't, Rick's Launchbox probably won't even launch for you. But after we get the Launchbox installed, then you can go back and delete it. I want to do an example of this for you. Okay, so we can go up to the Launchbox website. You're just going to hit download now on your window. It's going to give you this question here. It's going to ask for your link. So just put down your website, whatever you want. That's my Gmail. So don't start spamming my Gmail. I mean, you can if you want to. I'm more likely just won't respond. Hit your download now, and it's going to shoot you a download link to your email. Okay, and once you do that, you'll just come over here and just click on download here. You're going to get a queue up here of the download file in progress. All right, once it's completed, you can just click on the setup exe and just put it anywhere in your C drive. Really doesn't matter where it goes. I find it works best in the C drive just to make sure everything goes to my main system. You may get this question, just hit OK and run anyways. It's not going to hurt your system. Okay, and then once we get started, it's going to ask you the basics. Just hit yes. I'm just going to leave. I want to make a new name for it since I already do have Launchbox in that location. So I'm just going to put DE, so I'm just going to delete it as soon as I'm done. Hit next. I don't want to create a folder for that since I'm just going to delete it anyways when I'm done. Hit install and just let it work its magic. All right, when it's finishing up, you're going to be seeing this loading bar. So it's just getting everything all set up and ready for you. All right, now upon first boot, Launchbox is going to try to set up all your Steam games for you with this newer version. It's only doing the metadata, so it's not actually downloading the games on your computer. It's just hitting the metadata, so don't freak out about that. And here you can just go ahead and exit out. We no longer need it. Then you can just go back and delete it. All right, so here's my Launchbox that you just downloaded. I no longer need it, so I'm going to delete it. Okay, now that I got all that done, now we can safely open Uncle Rick just to, make sure nothing gets deleted or corrupted. You'll want to go into your regular Launchbox. Oh, and one more thing, Uncle Rick is big box ready. So all that means is if you already have a license, this license won't be with this build, but all you need to do, you can just take it, copy it, and place it here, which I'll do real quick. So I just want to copy that. I want to delete it. So originally, you're not going to have a license here, so you just copy your other license from whatever builds you have. Then you can just right-click, paste it. All right, I'll try that again. So we got it copied, paste, and there you go. And now Uncle Rick is Launchbox ready. And you can tell it's in big box mode because in the upper right-hand screen of your Launchbox UI, you'll see your name or whatever you have your name on when you have your Launchbox big box build bought. Okay, so a quick rundown of what's going on here. You can just click the sidebar right here where the little arrow's at, and then you can drag down. You see everything under the Arcade's platform. Regular Arcade is going to be your MAME. Then you have American Laserdisc, Thomas Wave, Model 2, 3, Naomi, and Parrot. Click this right here to pull down your consoles. Then we have Nintendo, Master System, and WoW Action Max. 5K here is going to have its own tutorial. I was unable to get everything properly set up automatically, but it's very easy to set up, and you can check out the tutorial. All my tutorials are going to be right here in this tab, and the tools are going to be tools that these tutorials will relate to. So that's where you'll find all that. And yeah, it looks like a lot right now, but trust me, it's not. And everything will be broke down inside tutorials. And of course, you have our button assignment. So if you want a quick overlook of what these buttons are, you can just come through here and you can see how everything's all lined out. Okay, so anyways, we'll go ahead and continue our journey to get this set up. You will come to your guides and tutorials, and you will see the videos that are numbered. The numbered videos are the mandatory ones to watch. The ones that are not numbered, they're optional ones. They have good information, but it's up to you if you want to watch those or not. But I do recommend you do anyways at some point. Okay, anyways, thank you for surviving this. The rest of them more likely won't be this long, but I will see you on the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to this video. So we're going to finish up our prerequisites. So go ahead and minimize your Launchbox. First thing you want to do is make sure that you have your displays set properly. If not, you may have some issues, especially when it comes down to TechnoParrot games and maybe Sega Model 2. But it's just a good overall base to have your display set up. So just a right click on your background, go to display settings. You'll want to make sure that your scaling's at 100%. If you're on a 4K TV monitor, that may be up to 150, 300. Always make sure it's at 100%. Display resolutions, 19 by 1080s, always on be the recommended one. You really don't need to go any higher unless you just want a better looking UI. Most games really aren't made to look any better beyond that. So it's best is to keep it there. But if you do want to go 2K, 4K, then experiment. But if you have issues, then this is the default where you'll want to be at. And very importantly is your hertz. You'll find that in your advanced display settings here. And see, this one's at 120. The best way to change that, and it's going to have it reminded for your computer every time, is you could change it here, but it's just going to revert right back whenever you reboot. To make sure your hertz stays, is go to your display adapter properties for whichever display you have your TV on that you're using as your main one. So for me, this is player 1. Hit that. You'll come down here to list all modes, and you're going to have all these values here. The one that you want is 1920 by 1080, and you want the one at 60 hertz. So we're just going to move up here. Now you got 60 hertz right there. Hit OK. Hit apply. Okay, TVs want to do something like that. Hit keep changes. Hit OK. And right here, you want to see where it says that 60 hertz. So now your display is set and ready to go. All right, next you want to go back to your Launchbox UI, and you're going to want to set up, make sure your drivers is all updated. So if you haven't done any of this in a while, that's going to be the visual update, DirectX, the Direct 9X update, and the net framework. Be sure to do that. And if you question it, I would say just do it anyways. Honestly, I'll show you right now. I'll do it right now. It's not going to hurt anything. At worst, it may make things better. And none of this will take long, and we'll get that done. So I'll come up here to visual update first. It's going to run through all these packages. And you can fast forward this part if you want to. I'm just going to let it run through just so you can see what I'm seeing. All right, and that's it. You're done on that. Oh, and all this is going to be in the tools section, so everything you need is going to be right here. Do the Direct 9X install. Now, this is going to be very important when it comes to DML and your Sega 9. Just hit browse, just put it wherever it's going to point you at. It'll probably point you to a temps folder. If not, then just somewhere in your C drive. Hit OK. So want to do that. It's probably going to take like 30 seconds. DirectX update. Now, DirectX will actually check what version you have. So if you are, uncheck the install Bing bar. You don't want that. But it's going to check what version of DirectX you have. And if you already have the newer or equivalent to this, then it's not going to update it for you. You're good there. And last, the net framework update, which this is also good for TechnoParrot. Now, me already have this installed here. So if you hit this and you can just hit repair, it's just going to check to see if there's any of these files that needs to be updated. And of course, it's going to ask what you want to do. I want to ask it to reboot it later. But if you never had this run before, it's going to ask if you want to complete the install. So just hit yes and just let it do its thing. Okay, and then when you're done, it's going to say this. I know I'm good, but at this point, I probably want to close it and then restart after this video just to make sure all these effects go into place. Okay, and last, if you never ran TechnoParrot on your computer before, this is just a lot like if you never had Launchbox installed before, you want to run TechnoParrot. So just hit this right here that says TechnoParrot dependencies, and we want to bring this up here. Just hit browse, and it really doesn't matter where you put it. I'm just going to put it somewhere on my C drive. Again, I'm just going to delete this whenever I'm done anyways. So it's going to put it right here, and you'll need to make a folder for this. All right, so it's got a folder called new folder, select folder. And this is going to run through and do all this full installation for you. All right, and it's all done. It's going to boot the program up, and you can just close it. And just like last time, you can delete the folder too, which I'm going to as well. It's going to ask you to update. We don't want to update. We already have our own TechnoParrot folder that we're going to run beyond this. All right, and here is my TechnoParrot folder. I just call it a new folder. Delete it. No longer need it. All right, and now we have our prerequisites done. This just ensures that everything will launch or run without failure. A quick note, depending on the type of system you're running is going to depend how well this runs. So if you're just running something base like a Optiplex i4, i5, 4th, 5th, 6th generation, and you're not running a dedicated graphics card, whether it be a AMD, whether it's a NVIDIA, then you're probably going to have some issues when you start getting into the Model 2 and beyond games. You may get in some issues with WoW Action Max, and those are just going to vary and be affected by lower end units. And TechnoParrot, I probably wouldn't even try to run TechnoParrot if you're not running a dedicated graphics card in your computer. My system, I run a 1650 Super, and I'm able to run all these games just fine. So my recommendation, 1050 Ti or higher. But everything else should run fine. And if you're running a higher version of the i5, i7, 9, 10, 11 generation, then you might be fine running the rest of these games. I think those can actually run PS2 pretty well, so these can run pretty well. So I just want to throw that out there in case you're having issues running those games, because more likely that would be the cause of slowdowns and games just not launching. Okay, anyways, I will catch you on the next video, and thank you. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for making it this far in the video. So this is going to be for you Non-Sinden users. Now, a quick note, I do not have any Non-Sinden guns, so I'm really just going off of the notes I have off of my testers and just the process of how things work. Non-Sinden usage hasn't really been too perfect, but I think I've made a lot of changes to make it near perfect. Some things that you'll need to do on your end is there's going to be a button mapping. So you'll see it right through here, and you can just take a picture of this if you want. And how this works is whatever gun program that you're running, I know Gun for IR has one, I know AimTrack has one, retro shooter, I haven't seen that UI yet, so I don't know how it works. But I believe the trigger and reload are pretty much defaulted to your left and right mouse buttons. So if you could change that on your program, do so. The special button, also the third button. Very few games need that, but for those that do, that is defaulted to the middle mouse button. So just however you can do that on your gun through your gun program. And these are going to be the little other keys that you will need. You can probably do this through your just a regular keyboard. You can map them through Big Box, or if you can map them to your gun, you can do it that way too. So I'll go over them. The start player 1 is going to be the keyboard number 1, keyboard number 2. Coin's going to be a 5 player 1, number 6 for player 2. If you want to exit the game, that's going to be from your escape. Now, big box mapping, just controlling the big box UI as it is. You're going to navigate that with your keyboard arrows, or you can have it to your joystick through a big box. You know how to do that. Accept or start game is going to be your enter button. So that's like your forward button, or start your game with the enter. Back's going to be your escape. So I tell you, go back in your menus. And the big box menu, how you do that is you're going to actually hold your escape button for about 5 to 7 seconds. Once you're back as far as you can go in your menus, and that'll get you to the options menu. The reason I have that set to 5 to 7 seconds is you really don't want someone who doesn't know much about your system. All they want to do is point and shoot. So you don't want them getting into those by accident and kind of mess things up. But anyways, that is it. When we get into the demo setup, pay very close attention to that. This is really where I had a lot of non-Sinden users have issues with it. So I want to try to go into a bit more detail on that so I can help give you the best experience possible. Anyways, thank you very much. And hold up. Borders. We want borders off. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. So come to your Sinden mode right here, the non-Sinden mode activate. That'll be in your tools, and you're just going to double click on that. And this is going to turn off all the borders for MAME, which that's going to cover MAME games, your Nintendo games, and your Sega Master System. For everything else, you're going to need to turn off the reshade. And with the exception of TechnoParrot, you'll have to do it for every game that you're in. But just go to one game per platform, and you're going to hit your home button on your keyboard, and you're going to see a box checked that's going to say either borders or layers. Just uncheck it, hit your home button again, and that'll take off the borders for all games in that system. Okay, and crosshairs. So if you do want your crosshairs on, just come down to your arcade, right click on any game, it doesn't matter. Come to your file management, go to games folder. We're going to go to the MAME emulator here, and you're going to see a folder called crosshairs. Now here, you just right click that, and you can rename that whatever you want. You can just add S to it, or add non-crosshairs. Just name it whatever you want. That's going to turn crosshairs off for all your MAME arcade, or turn your crosshairs on for the MAME arcade, the NES, and Sega Master System. Okay, now I hope that covers anything that y'all might want to change on the non-Sinden side. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this build. It's very enjoyable for everybody, I believe. But watch the next videos, and we're going to finish getting this whole thing set up. Thank you. Alright, welcome back. Now that I have everybody back together, we're going to get our demo shooter set up. Come to our tools right here, and we're going to open up 2 files first. One, we're going to open up the light guns PID. And I'm just going to shorten this up. And we're going to open up our demo shooter file here. Now, if you've ran my previous builds before, we've had demo shooter set as administrative mode. I believe, however, that we do not need to do that. If you do come across issues though with Demon Shooter, where it's just not hooking, and what hooking means is you'll see a red box down here, and if it's red and not green, it's not hooking. So you'll just need to set Demon Shooter itself or the Demon Shooter 64 to admin mode. You just have to mix and match and try to find which one works best for you. But I believe for 99% of us, this how it's set up now should be fine. Oops, I don't want that up. Alright, so let's get our light gun PID folder out. This will help us find the guns we need. So right here, we have our PID numbers, and you'll match your number up with your gun here. For me, I'm do your player 1 first, so I'll be looking for OF39, and you'll see all these crazy numbers and devices set up here. Don't let all these scare you. All we're worried about is the PID. So look for the PID underscore and match that to your gun. I'm matching this to my player 2, so that's going to be OF39. So I'll be right here. I just want to double click on that. Verify that's good here. Another change, we usually have that check. We're not going to check that this time. And make sure that your gun is recognized for all 3 of these buttons. Ascending users, of course, pull up your border, pull your gun out, and you can see the axis is moving, so I know this is the right gun. I have my second player gun here. As you see, the mouse is moving, but the crosshair isn't moving. That's because it's not recognizing this gun, which is perfect. You only want to recognize the gun you want to be player 1 right now. Pull your trigger, and now this goes for any gun. Verify that your trigger is coming up as 1. Your pump action or your reload is coming up as number 2. So there it is, and that's going to show up as number 3. And then number 2 should be your middle mouse button. So for your Send users, that's going to be the front left. So just make sure you have those 3 inputs showing up. Save your config. And now go on to your number 2 gun, and we'll do the same thing. Alright, got this up, and it's going to be, I got my red gun, so it's going to be OF02. Make sure I got my player 2 configuration. I want to pull this tab bar down. And I want to find PID OF02. Alright, I'm just going to pull my trigger. I know that's good. I'm just checking the X. I know it's correct. Hit my save. If you have your border on for send and close it, if you're non-Sinden users, then you are basically done with this portion. Okay, and now we're going to move on to set our MAME gun mouse CTRLR. So just make notes of what your PID number is, especially if it's not on this list. Now, if it's not on this list, you're just going to have to go through all your PIDs and shoot your gun until you find one that eventually gives you a setting. Verify you do have 3 inputs, you have that moving around, and then you know what your PID number is. Because we want to use that number, and you can just close this out, in the MAME gun mouse CTRLR. Now, when you get this is going to be defaulted to 000. So this is going to be your default when you get this program. Gun code 7 is going to be your player 1 gun, and gun code 8 is going to be your player 2. So just take your player 1 that you had set up, and over here, I know this is correct, so it's my player 2, OF39. So I will use that for my input here. And do make sure you have these 4 digits exactly how it's written. If it's not, if it's a small f and not a large F, or a small letter, not a big letter, it may not read correctly. All right, now my player 2 is going to be the red one, OF02. Okay, and I have that set up there. Be sure you hit save. And this is going to take care of your MAME run system. So that's going to be your older arcade. That's going to be your NES Master System. You have all that preset now. Okay, and real quick before we wrap this section up, the MAME systems are running in OpenGL, which doesn't give you a shader. So if you would like shaders, that will give you like the scan lines to even out and overall just make MAME look better. I'll show you how to do that real quick. Now, originally I had this set up as a default in the old build, but I didn't do it on this one because not everybody's computer ran good on the EGF system. So if you do make this change and your computer just starts running your game slower, loading time takes longer, then just revert back to OpenGL. But you'll right click on it, you'll come to your MAME emulators folder. You're going to come down to the MAME INI, this file right here. And you're just going to go all the way down to the line. Well, once it slows up. Yeah, so let's pull it all the way down into line 257. And we're just going to change this to BGFX. And then just be sure to save the file, and then you'll have all your scan lines with your games, which I prefer. And after I send this out to everybody, I want to have mine on BGFX. But just for ease of use and make sure this runs on everybody's computer, I have it set to OpenGL right now, but that's how you change it if you want those shaders. Okay, anyways, let's go to the next video and we'll continue to get this wrapped up. And thank you. All right, so this is going to cover TechnoParrot setup. And for TechnoParrot, you're going to need to set the controls up for all your guns. And it's not really hard to do. It's all pretty self-explanatory. I want to do a couple of examples. And also, if you didn't put TechnoParrot onto your D drive at the root, you'll need to come through and find all these games. So I'll show you two different ways to do this. This is the original way. You'll just hit your game. You'll go to controller. No, you'll go to game settings. And then you'll just look for your executable up here, which this one is going to be Aliens D-shaped. And then you'll just click on that. You'll have to do a lot of file digging in this method, which I don't prefer this method, but I'm just showing this to you. After this, I'll show you my preferred method, and it's much easier. Emulators, a TechnoParrot. You'll go to your games, extermination, data, aliens D-shape, hit open, and then that's how you find your games. The other method, which the method I prefer, just go to your arcade, pull up just any TechnoParrot game, right click on it, come to file management, games folder, go to the TechnoParrot root, and you'll go to user profiles. Now right here, these may be looking like your Internet Explorer icon. You want to make sure that you open all these up with a text file. It doesn't matter which one. Open with, I use Notepad++, but you can just use a regular notepad. You can use text, just whatever. But once you have that selected, then you can open up your file. Go to line 6 on game path. And right here, all you have to do is just change that D to whatever letter you're on. C, F, D, just whatever. Once you make that change, just come up here and save it, close it, and then just repeat it for the rest of these games. All you do is just change that letter drive to whatever you're on. To me, that's just a lot easier and faster. Okay, so now that we have your TechnoParrot games correctly in their locations as far as Launchbox is going to read it. We're going to set our controls. So we'll do an easy one first, which is acknowledgments determination. And you'll go to controller setup. If you're a Sinden user, do have your border up, Alt B. Make sure you have your coin button checked. So you'll shoot it off screen front right. If you're using player 2, use your player 2 gun here. Player 1 start, that's going to be your on screen front right. Light gun, this is which light gun you're going to use for this. Mine says player 2, but that's just the name of my gun, not the name of the actual one I'm using. Trigger is going to be of course, your trigger button, on-screen trigger. Special, that's going to be the middle button. So for Sinden, the front left. Flame, I use the off-screen or the right button, pulling my pump. And then do the same thing for player 2. Once you're done, save your settings. And then just do that for the rest of the games. Time Crisis can be weird, so I'll show you how I have Time Crisis done. So go to Time Crisis, controller setup, and this is a one-player game as well. So just come over here, coin, that's going to be off-screen front right. My gun trigger, that's going to be, of course, my on-screen trigger. Gun button, now this is how you change your guns. So when you hit stage 4 and you have multiple guns, that's what you do your gun button for. So I have that for my right mouse buttons, so I just use my pump action. Now for my pedals, that's going to be my front left and my front right. So front middle button, on screen front left, right button, on screen front right. And you can map these if you want, you shouldn't have to. Of course, pick your gun you're going to use. If not, none of this is going to matter. Hit save. And that's it. That is how you map out TechnoParrot. So just do that through here. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'll have a video more in depth on my YouTube channel, so check it out if you are having issues with that. All right, and other than that, that is really it. There'll be one more video you should watch, and that just covers basically troubleshooting portions and anything else that I can think of that just wasn't long enough to dedicate a whole video to. But this next part here is for your Sinden users, and these are going to be your button commands. So on your gun, your front right off screen is going to be your coin button. It will also be your select button for NES games. On screen front right is going to be your start, so it's going to be your player 1 or player 2 start button. The front left button is going to be your special button, so very few games use that, but that'll be your front left. If you want to exit out of a game, that's going to be your rear left button. Of course, you have directional pad. A couple of games actually use that, and that's noted in the game's listing. And that covers the main ones. As far as big box UI command goes, that is going to be your arrows are going to be your navigation, so of course up and down. Your escape or your rear left is going to be that one. That'll be your back button. Also, if you hold that down for a few seconds, it'll get you back into the big box options, the MAME. If you want to start games or your accept button, that's going to be your front right on your gun. So I'd be right up here. And that should cover the big box UI commands. So that kind of should help you navigate. And right here, I have the visuals of what all those are. So you can just kind of look these over and it should help you out. Okay, anyways, I got one more video everyone should watch, and then I'll just release you out into the wild. Anyway, thanks for making this far, and I do hope you really enjoy all this. Thank you. Hey, welcome back, and thank you for making it this far. This is going to be the last of the quote mandatory videos that you should be watching. Any other videos past this, and then with the no numbers, those are going to be optional, but I still would recommend watching them or at least glancing over them. They'll still have some useful information for you. Okay, so all this is just a bunch of small stuff, and none of this really is big enough for its own video. Well, I'm just going to kind of rush through these and show you what's going on here. First off, let's go over these clear logos. Oh, so right here we're divided into your arcade style games, and then on your consoles we have your console games. Now, of course, not everybody might like this layout, which is fine. I'll show you how to change that real quick. Hit your escape button, or if you're on Sinden, you can just hit your rear left button and hold it down, and it'll go to this menu here. You can come down to options. Give it a second to load up. And you can go to views, and we can just change this wherever you want. Platforms, play modes, playlist. I would recommend stick with your platforms or platform categories. So we'll switch it to just regular platforms for now. And then you just escape out. And then you have all your platforms on one screen. Okay, so the clear logos, we'll go with Nintendo, for example. I have Player 1 for Nintendo, Master System, Action Max, and Sega Model 3. So that's just to let you know that all the games in this platform are going to be a one player unless there's a clear logo that specifies otherwise. Model 3 is going to be on a single player game, and that's only because it just can't stay stable on two players for the same controllers. Anytime you reboot, anytime you unplug, replugging your guns in, there's a chance that your guns could be swapped out. And especially if you have more devices, then that's just, any of those devices could take the place of your gun. So for me, it's just a bigger headache than what it's worth. The fix is not hard, but if they never really messed with the system before, then that's just like trying to explain brain surgery. And there's only one game that you really would care about. It's playing two players. That's Jurassic Park game. But this game right here is what we'll be mostly playing anyways, and it's a one-player game. Okay, we can go ahead and exit out. And you can use the escape button, or again, on your Sinden gun, you can use the rear left off screen to escape out of your games. Now here, you're going to have your screen that's just going to, it could freeze up like that. So all you need to do is just hit your left mouse button or just point and shoot your screen. The reason it does that, I don't know. It's a big box issue. Sometimes it'll happen, sometimes it doesn't. Well, for me, it happens mostly when it's the first game I'm starting. Of course, happening again. Just shoot the screen and it'll unfreeze itself. We'll go back to the clear logos here, and we'll go to arcade. So not all arcade games are two players. And as I was playing through these and getting this ready, I couldn't remember which ones off the bat were one player, which ones were two players. So I have added the player 1 logo to all the games that are player 1, or they could be two players, but they're alternating. So I believe some of the big buck hunters, you can do two players, but you're alternating the same gun. So to think of the one player mostly as you're using one gun, you're not using a second player gun. And this gives you a brief overview of that. Also, some games are going to require 3 buttons. Now, Glogo 13 has 3 buttons, but I don't know what the third button does. But I do know it does have 3 buttons, because I go inside the MAME UI mapping, there is a spot for a third button. But if any of you guys can figure out what that third button actually does in this game, let me know. Gunbusters. Now, this is the only game that really uses your directional pad. Well, I'll take that back. Gotcha also uses the directional pad, and you can just use it on your gun, up and down, I believe. Makes you move left or right on Gotcha. It's a pretty fun game. You should give it a shot. Gun Busters. Now, the way this is set up for your Sinden, and you may probably want to remap this if you're not using Sindens, but since the directional pad is on the side of your gun, I have up as left because that like makes you go forward. So just hit left on your D-pad and you're like walking forward, back, or the right's going to be your down. So I have it really set up to your perspective of when you're using a Sinden gun. All right. Also, we'll go through the UI controls real quick. So your arrows up and down will navigate this for you. Of course, if you're on a Sinden gun, you can just use your directional pad. Your insert button is going to be your accept button or your play a game button. Escape or off screen left, right on your Sinden will get you out of a game. And of course, your escape's going to take you back. This build does have all the marquee images set and ready to go. So you would just come down here to your options. You can scroll down to your marquee options here. And then you can just activate them, change this however you want. I don't have a marquee myself, so I really can't walk you through how to set it up, but I'm just going to assume that if you do have a marquee and you have run Big Box before, then you know how to work that. So I'm just letting you know your options there. Also, we are updated to Launchbox 13, 12, whatever the latest version it is when this comes out. So we have the Games Discovery Center, and it's just kind of another way to play these games. So you'll have all these categorizations. So if you want to play but you don't know what to play, give Game Discovery mode a shot. Can be pretty fun. And of course, to get out of that, just hold your escape button. Go back to your menu. Yeah, I think you just have to restart it. I know there's a certain way to get back there, but to regular mode, I just close Big Box and reopen it. That's just an easier way for me. But y'all can figure it out. And anyways, that is it. Showed you all that I could on here. I want to be running a playlist on my YouTube channel, T.K.S. You can find me there on YouTube. And I just want to go over the Uncle Rick build, this one here, so we can add on more games. We're going to be adding on more platforms, etc. And there's any other tricks I haven't shown, and there are still quite a few of them, but I just didn't want to overpopulate this with more videos, then you really had to watch all this. So if you are interested in seeing what else you can do with this build, just follow me on my channel and check it out. Anyways, that is it, guys. I'm going to let you run free with this thing, and you all have a great day, and give me feedback on how this works for you, or it doesn't work for you. That is the only way that I can make this better. Just give me some feedback. All right, man. See y'all later. And I forgot one more thing to add to this, and then I'll let you go. I promise you. So this concerns American Laser Games and Action Max. So go ahead and open one up, and this concerns the border. And this can actually concern both Sinden and non-Sinden users, so pay attention. So if you're running this on a non-1920 by 1080 scale, the border is going to come up small. So let me demonstrate that. Yeah, so if you're trying to run on a 2K, a 4K, and you didn't change the resolution to 1920, which is fine, but I'm just giving you a heads up here. You'll need to change this border. Either take it off if you're a non-Sinden user, which you would just hit your home button and come to this reshade and just uncheck layer, and now you have no border. That's it. But if you do want your border still, we'll do this, open it up, and we're going to adjust our layer scale. So I recommend this. if you want about right here for a Sinden user, and you'll have your border with your marquee. For a non-Sinden user, if you just don't want straight black, you can actually make this a little bit bigger. All right, and now we still have a bit of our border there. Then, of course, you can just hit your escape button to leave it and save it. Or not escape, I'm sorry, hit your home button. And then you can just exit the game. And that's going to be remembered for everything on the platform. You'll need to do that to your action max as well, if you need to do that step. And also, I'll go over real quick with the in-game controls. So this will be useful for both Sinden and non-Sinden users. And I believe I've already done this in an earlier video as well, but just to refresh yourself, buttons 1 and 2 is going to be your player 1 to start. 5 and 6 is going to be your keyboard. Is going to be your coins. Escape button is going to get you out of the game, and of course your trigger is going to shoot whatever you're shooting at. Sinden users, how that would relate is using your front right screen, your front right button. Off screen, that's going to be your clear button. On screen, front right is going to be your start button. And to get out of the game, that would be off screen, rear left. That usually is the border button, but since all our borders are pre-baked into this, you don't have a need to turn your borders on and off. This program does everything for you. Okay, with that out of the way, now that's everything, and enjoy the build. Check y'all out later. Hey guys, what's up? Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching the thank you video. I want to give a quick shout out. Without these guys, there's no way I could have gotten this out to you. Major thank to Darren, Doctor of Love Pain. He was very vital in finding some issues that I probably never would have found myself, and would have taken me weeks or maybe a month to even find and then get it figured out. Big thank you to Martin Kilroy. He helped me with the few unique scenarios that we were able to get figured out and worked. So they're very vital to putting this together with me. Special thanks to Rod Green. He helped me out with the script to speed up the process for non-Sinden users, and hopefully in the next iteration I can probably come up with some script that would help the Sinden users make the process a bit quicker on their end as well. Yeah, so this build right here, it's a lot more than just adding more games onto the old Rick and putting it out there. I've went back and reworked a lot of things that I felt Rick needed improvements on, so I wanted this to be just more than more games. I wanted this to be smooth, simple. I wanted it to be themed. I wanted this build to have and tell a story. And it's special to me, especially for Sinden users. We kind of get shoved to the side. But during the build of Rick and things I was able to figure out, come up with, I've actually opened the doors up for other guns to use. I didn't think other guns would work with this, let alone other users would want to try this, because it's a very small build. There's not a whole lot to it. I just wanted to get something that's small, quick, and simple that you can take off and go running with without dropping another $200-300 on another hard drive to get running, and something that you can't fix yourself. So I wanted it to where I have enough videos to where if you have issues that you're able to fix it yourself. And of course, I'm always on call. Anyways, I hope you feel the love when you're playing this. I hope everything works out for you. And most importantly, that you get everything that you wanted out of a gun experience that I can provide you and what you're expecting to have. I know I set the table high for this, so I hope I met expectations. Leave me feedback on this. It only helps me move forward to make the next version even better. Also, if you want to help support me, there's 2 ways to do it. I've started a buy me a coffee campaign, so always feel free to donate some money. I put it towards good use. I put it towards some Jaeger bombs for you, some Stella. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't want to go that route. But also, if you really do want to help me out, the best way to do that is just subscribe to my YouTube channel. The links and the QR codes are going to be somewhere in this video for you to look at. And share. I mean, if this build meets your expectations, please share with other people you know who's looking for a build. This thing is free, it's lightweight, and if it doesn't meet your expectations, the only thing you're out of is 86 gigs. That's nothing. But anyways, thank you again, and I hope everybody enjoys this, and y'all have a great day. Bye.